Hey, Red Hill, how are you? Dive in now, I think. How you been doing, mate? I've been watching a lot of your channel that you've been putting up now. I've been really enjoying some of the stuff you've been doing. Really good stuff. Yeah, so basically, today I've not been online for ages because I've had sick children and sick families and sick everything. Everyone's just been awful. Yeah, no, but I'm doing really good now, and I've been kind of looking to jump back in on this awesome save that we had going on. Yeah, no, really been enjoying your stuff, Red Hill. I was laid up in bed for a few days, so I was ploughing through an absolute ton of people's TEW saves. So there's a very good chance I've kind of bundled a lot of the ideas and just stolen ideas off of people. But you know, it's kind of what wrestling's about, isn't it? So, but I wanted to dive back in on this because I've not actually been online for absolutely ages. I've had loads of stuff to plan and I've got loads of good ideas and just not got them down yet. So I wanted to jump back in and see what we're doing. But yeah, so really pleased to have at least you back joining me. Loving this. So I've got no plans for today, really. I'm just going to kind of go through this and try and get me up to the next episode of Main Event, which is in a couple of days' time. Maybe book some of that. We'll see how it goes. But I've got a lot of unhappy people. Red Hill, you might be able to help me with this. Now, I think this could be a dodgy mod kind of thing. But I've got Lord Stephen Regal and a few others who also work for New Japan. I can't work out why he won't prioritise working for me over New Japan Wrestling. So he's in an exclusive written contract with me, but he is still, for some reason, I have no idea why, he's still contracted to New Japan Pro Wrestling as well. And to add in that, his priorities are with New Japan, which is kind of a pain, because when you look through the schedule, New Japan basically wrestle on Mondays. So at the same time, have you got any idea? Because I've got no idea how I can basically get him to sack off New Japan, or how I can just, can I just offer him a new contract and will that kind of cancel it out? Yeah, I don't know if he is on loan. I can't work it because look, he's currently on a handshake loan with New Japan. But I don't know how to cancel the loan. Is there like an easy way I can go in and be like, no? Because I've got a couple that are doing it. Another one's like Road Warrior Hulk, I think, is another one. I'm not really worried about him. But is there like an easy way I can go and cancel a loan deal? Because I have no clue how to do it. Other than maybe if I cancelled my... If I stopped my alliance with New Japan, would that do it? But then I'm not sure I really want to do that. Not that I'm not really getting anything out of it, but yeah, he seems to. It's annoying though, isn't it? I can't really work out why. Yeah, they're on the New Japan roster. If we go in there, where am I going? New Japan. So yeah, they're all on the roster. So yeah, he's on there as Stephen Regal. Yeah, I've not come across it before, really. And normally, because I play as smaller companies, like one, I don't really ever have any alliances with people. Or I guess I've always played kind of big companies where I just think I'm sort of the boss. So I can't quite work out how I can stop it. They've got a couple of my others as well. But for example, we've got... oh, that's an idea. Perhaps I can have a click on him there. Let's have a look. So if we go in on here. So, yeah, it doesn't hold any... Oh, here we go. Hello. You might have cracked this for me. His contract's got no expiry, but has 2 appearances remaining. So his travel is paid for as part of the contract. So once he's done those 2 appearances, then that should be it. On the main menu for loan people. Let's have a look on there. If he's only got 2 appearances, I'm not overly worried by that, actually. So, I don't know, would it be under talent trades in here? Because we're with New Japan, but there doesn't seem to be anything to look at. Talent trade and offer. Do you think if I just click on his contract in the New Japan one, I could like go in there and be like, no, sack it off, bro. What are you doing, New Japan? You're stealing my peoples. So, okay. So it's got that. Okay, I'm not I guess I'm not overly worried if he's only got 2 appearances left. Because they've got a couple of my guys. They've got Sabu. But Sabu, he prioritises me, so I'm not really worried about that. That's kind of good. But then they've also got Rick Steiner and Scott Steiner. But I think, again, do they prioritise me? Because I signed Rick Steiner, for example. And, I've only signed him under a written deal. I should have had him under an exclusive one, shouldn't I? That's why he's buggering off. Okay, that's my fault. This is me cocking out there, isn't it? So his priorities with New Japan, WCW, then ECW. Okay, blast. That's my fault, isn't it? I think they got Scotty Norton as well. Let's see what his is. Oh, that has massively helped me though. Look at you. This is why I come on, just to basically get people to tell me how on earth to play the game, because otherwise I'm actually clueless. So yeah, they've got Scott Norton. So he's got an ongoing contract with them. I'm not massively worried about his though. So yeah, that's ongoing with them. These wrestlers are raking it in, aren't they? Just basically wrestling for absolutely everyone. Really, the only one I'm too worried about was Steven Regal, because I'd quite like to push him, but if he's only got 2 appearances left, and then he'll come back to me, I'm quite happy with that. Okay, that's really useful though. Cheers, mate. See, this is why I have you on. I can basically stop the live now because I've actually learned something, and I can just move on from here. So, no, I don't really deal with loans either. Mainly because I'm just not bothered by them. Like for example, I've got Jushin Thunder Liger. He's got 2 appearances with me. This just seems like a pain in the arse and pointless. I have got a plan for him, but when you've got guys who have got such limited dates that they can do for you, I don't really see much of the point. I like just building my own roster rather than taking other ones off and seeing what we can do there. But yeah, yeah. Loans just to me just seem like a pain in the arse that you're kind of just dealing with someone else's wrestler and seeing where you can go from there. And I don't know, it's not something I've done very often. But then again, like I say, I only really deal as like really small companies where I wouldn't have a reason to bring anyone in because absolutely no one want to join me, or just really big that I've done like WWF and WWE where obviously there's no interest in loaning people in or out really there either. So normally I'd be such a big company that I'd kind of create a smaller company anyway, like an NXT. Yeah, I do kind of get the idea of it, and I see where it kind of comes from. It's just I don't know. It seems like more hassle than it's worth for me, and for a little short program, I've spoken like, especially on this save as well, because obviously we've got the relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling, so I can do a lot of talent trades with that if I wanted to. The only problem I'm finding with it is just the actual New Japan roster, isn't. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. The New Japan roster, for example, just doesn't really have anyone who's actually anywhere near that popular in America. So if we go through it, I mean, you got Road Warrior Hawk, who's essentially mine anyway. So you got anyone who's worth talking about. I mean, Jushin Thunder Liger's at like pop of 25. That's about it. Yeah, there's just no one really worth bringing in, and none of my guys are massively popular in Japan either. So the problem I've got is like any talent trades with them, I'm just gonna have to basically give them like Hulk Hogan for 3 weeks, and I'll get some 65 rated Japanese wrestler who no one really wants. So yeah, I can see the point, and I can see if you want to have a little short program with someone, but I don't know. I don't mind bringing people in for just a short contract to do that rather than loan moves. It just seems like a faff to me. But I mean, it seems to be working. Anyway, I know I'm going to get William Regal back, so that's kind of good news for me. That's a big help there, so that'll be good. If we go through my contract negotiations, here's another one we got that you might be interested in. I've offered Ricky the Dragon Steamboat a job as a road agent, just because I think my road agents are a little bit weak at the moment. If we go in here, my road agents are myself, Dusty Rhodes, obviously. There's Jody Hamilton fella who's all right, psychology's okay, and respect is, all right, and reputation, the sort of basics, all the stuff you're looking for are okay. And I've got Larry Zabisco as well, who again, psychology is okay, respect much better, and his basics are pretty decent, so he's all right. But I'd like to just bring another one in because I'd like, I don't want to be relying on myself. We use a character, although obviously Dusty is like a killer road agent, obviously. But so I've offered Ricky the Dragon Steamboat a deal. I also think he'll be quite popular backstage, so I think that's going to save me there. So that's been good news. So I'm quite happy with that. At the moment, I'm just waiting to see if we get. Yeah, I think what I like, we've got 50 wrestlers at the moment, which I think is too many. I kind of work on the assumption of one road agent for every 10 wrestlers and then one on top, if that makes sense. So ideally, I would like to have 5, maybe 6 for this, just to spread it. And I also think road agents, you can probably pick up some pretty decent guys with some decent stats and some decent who are going to be a good influence backstage. So yeah, do you know what? Let's go through it. See if we can find somebody there. So let's see if we can find a positive influence backstage. So who could we bring in? Oh, Terry Funk. Not sure I want to bring him as a. Oh, let's have a switch that to any role. A road agent. Yeah, no road agents there with a positive influence. I've put in my psychology 5th is 75. So if we drop that down to that, respect down to 70, and the basics down to about 70. Let's see what that brings up. Yeah, no, still no one. Can work somewhere. Positive influence to hire anywhere. Let's drop the respect down a little bit. Yeah, no. Obviously, I know it's down to the number of matches, but it's just once you have a roster that big, I just tend to. That's the sort of number of matches you'll be putting together. Most weeks we're working it out. It's just not an exact science. It's just, I always think road agents are quite a good one. Like I say, if they're a decent influence backstage, or at least not a negative influence, then that's pretty good news. And I just like having good road agents there. It's just always a good plan to have them just knocking around in the backstage. If you've got guys that, especially if we can pop that up, decent amount of respect and things like that, I think it just helps. And I just quite like having some of these people around. So plus, especially when you're looking at these old ones, you can get some like pretty cool people in. Yeah, I like the idea of these guys are sort of handling a certain number of wrestlers. So there's a few people here. I'm probably not going to go with the Japanese ones. Tully Blanchard, that would be a good one, wouldn't it? He just bring back it's an occasional wrestler as well. I suppose he's only 41. Tito Santana, that's quite a decent one, isn't it? Like the idea of that. He's the actual AWF heavyweight champion, though. That's pretty cool, isn't it? What's his psychology of 76 to 89? Respect of 80. That's unbelievable, only 80. I thought it'd be much higher. And what have we got here? Basics is down there. Yeah, so Tito Santana wouldn't be a bad shout. Sergeant Slaughter, 47-year-old Sarge. So you got psychology's decent, respect is decent, basics decent. Could I just do this and pinch him from under the noses of WWF? I like the idea of that. I've gone for Ricky Steamboat. I mean, obviously the man's a legend. His psychology's off the charts. The respect, unbelievably, only 90. I thought that'd be like 120 or something. And his basics are obviously insane. So Otto Wands, absolutely zero clue who that is. Yeah, bring those early 40s guys into job to unimportant ones. Yeah, you want to push. That's not a bad shout, actually, to be fair. That's I could start actually using it for that reason. I think Justin Thunder Liger, I'm gonna use him to not push someone over, but to put someone over, but just get beat down by someone in his 2 appearances. That's gonna be fun. Get Mick McManus, bring in a proper English wrestler. That'd be good news, wouldn't it? We could have some actual English people in my English thing. Luthez, bit of a Luthez Prez. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Psychology is pretty high, and I don't really want 79-year-old ones. Not sure about that. Les Thatcher. Got Killer Kowalski. 68. Don't really want him. Jose Lothario. Jimmy Snooker. Ooh, I think we'll give him a swerve. Harley Race. Yeah, I suppose. So you got psychology. Wow, psychology is very high in basics there. Harley Race hired by the USW. He's hired by ECW. Blimey. Like the idea of that. He's been inducted into the Hall of Fame. Don't really surprise anyone, does it? Maybe I'll give Harley Race. He's got a balanced and neutral personality. Does anyone hate him? So if I went exclusive, then he would sack off all the others, wouldn't he? But he's only working with people there. He wants 30 grand a month. Is that a lot of money for a road agent? I don't know. Let's have a go with him. Let's have a go, shall we? All shows, he's going to say he wants more of that. Due to my pop, I deserve more of the merchandise. Yeah, I don't really care. You're not going to make that much on merchandising, are you? Oh, he wants even more. 35%. Yeah, fine. There we go. Right, so we've got a Harley Racer deal as well, so I'll go with that. So that'll give us, what, 5... Dutch Mantel. That'd be quite a mad one to have, wouldn't he? I quite like Dutch. He was with, what's his face? We the People. He's just gone back to WWF, hasn't he? Or WWE, sorry. Jack Swagger. I liked all that. He's actually, he's signed to WWF at the moment. Oh, I do like the idea of pinching some people from them, though. Is that just mean? Is that just me wanting to do it for no reason? He could be a road agent, though, and he's got decent respect. Psychology's a bit ropey, though. We don't want to bring in rubbish road agents, do we? Let's be fair. Dory Funk Jr. God, good lord, an occasional wrestler still at the age of 54. Absolutely love it. Love that. So, what are we looking at for him? Psychology is really high. Respect is decent, and the basics. Perhaps he's worth bringing in. Is he going to be? He was hired by USWA and ECW, so that's interesting. Doesn't look terrible, does he? He'd want an absolute fortune to be a road agent. But then again, like I say, I just need to bring in these guys to kind of bump up the number of road agents I've got, which would always be useful. I can't imagine he's going to have any negative chemistry with anyone or anything like that. He's not a negative relationships, is there? Maybe perhaps we'll shortlist him and I'll have a look in a minute. I've not fully convinced by you, Dory Funk Jr. 45% towards the Hall of Immortals. Title history, the Real World Tag League. God, that sounds terrible, doesn't it? The WWC, awesome. So, Road Hill, what have you been up to? Have you got any more videos lined up that are coming out that you've got in the pipeline at the moment, or have you? Because you seem to be putting out loads at the moment. You seem to be just like chugging them out. Yeah, do you know what? Let's negotiate. Let's go with it. Be whatever's needed. No, well, we'll do that just in case. I don't need you to be exclusively written. Oh no. Well, realistically, you can go everything. I don't need you at house shows, but you can have more merchandise. So there you go, 30%. There you go. Perfect. Man's gonna be coining it in with all these bloody contracts he's offered, isn't he? Look at him, living his best life. It's not caused any injuries. Fair enough. I love looking through all this kind of boring stuff. What a boring video, me just looking through Dory Funk Jr.'s like history and background, so not what anyone wants to see, is it really, I guess. So yeah, we've got a couple of negotiations going on there now. We've got Ricky Steamboat and Dory Funk. I've also got a little bit of a plan for. We've got William Regal, and you got Bobby Eaton, or Bobby Eaton, 37. He's not getting to the end of his career. He's probably got a couple more years left in him, but I'd ideally like to keep him around as a road agent because he's got pretty decent stats for it. He's got the psychology. He's got the respect. He's got the basics. So I think we'll give it a little while, and I might turn around and have a little chinwag with him and see if we can get him to agree to be a road agent for me at some point in the future. That would be really useful because I think he's half decent. So that's what we're kind of looking for in it. So anything to bump him up. Oh God. Right. I think that's going to be it for the road agents at the moment. I don't think there's massively anything interesting going on here, but I had me a Nitro, which done pretty well. But we'll move on to the next day now. I think we'll get going on. Oh, random profile, Devon Dudley. That's a good one, isn't it? Love that. Takes all my willpower not to be signing basically all of these like future stars. In big news coming out of WWF Monday Night Raw, Razor Ramon has turned heel. Dun dun dun. The switch of allegiance, which had been rumoured quite heavily prior to the show, should reinvigorate him as well as allowing him to work with a lot of fresh opponents at the top of the WWF roster. Oh man, I'd love to bring in like Scott Hall. 80 popularity, that is insane. I think that's being a little bit generous. I think this mod as a whole is quite generous with what they do, but yeah, that is very, very generous, I think. Should we have a look at what Monday Night Raw was booked? Let's go through there and have a look at what they're doing. Oh, that's not what we wanted to do. Oh, so God, look at this. They're getting 86s and 82s on their Raws. That's incredible. I'm generally impressed by that. It's quite annoying, isn't it? So who have they got on their roster now? So they've got Diesel, Bret Hart, Shawn, the Dingo Warrior. Good Lord. So please tell me that's the gimmick they're putting him out with, the Dingo Warrior. That would be absolutely fantastic, wouldn't it? I'd be over the moon with that. So they've still got all of their shows. Oh, fair enough. Theirs isn't looking too bad, is it? So what else do we have in the news? New champion in AAA. Not really worried about all these. These are the kind of below us, aren't they? Addition to Raven's Nest. According to sources within ECW, the stable's lineup will now be debuting very soon, perhaps as early as next show. And what is that? Jim the Anvil Neidhart joining Raven's Nest, not his flock. Raven's Nest. Good heavens, that's quite a shout, isn't it? Jim the Anvil. Hello. Oh well. Rocco Rock kicked out of ECW. So bye Rocco Rock. Hello, Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Apparently, that's kind of mad. I wasn't expecting that. Hey ho, we'll live to be surprised by these things. We're still really early days in this save. We're still only like week 2, so everybody's absolutely signing everybody at the moment. So you're still going to see loads of people move around. Oh, Taka Michinoku, big fan of his back in the day. ECW hire Headhunter A. ECW have successfully completed negotiations to add Headhunter A to their roster. I don't know who that is. Headhunter A, fair enough. WWF to hire Amy Lee. Oh, so they're really pushing their kind of women's roster a bit more. I guess kind of makes sense. I still don't think I'll be doing anything with a women's roster on WCW at the moment. I don't think we're going to have enough talent there. So, now this is interesting. This is where it gets. I thought this would happen. AGPW have made a contract offer to Chris Benoit. I'm getting to the point where, Chris Benoit is obviously a touchy subject in the world of wrestling. I'm just quite tempted to just cut him out of my WCW save because it just feels weird having him in it. I know it's a game and it's not really related to real life, but just, I don't know. I'm not sure about Benoit. I think I might have to, if he gets a couple of job offers coming in. I think I was going to say he's already at New Japan. He's also, I mean, I've got him. What deal have I got him on? If we go and look at him very quickly on my roster. Chris Benoit, he's on an absolute packet. Yeah, he's on a handshake deal for like 36 G's a month. I know, obviously, he'll go on to be a fantastic wrestler and whatnot, but I'm thinking that it's probably time just to, if you love him, to set him free. And it won't cost me anything either, will it? No, because it's a handshake deal. I'll just let him go. I just feel like it's time to maybe let Chris Benoit leave and he can find better things to do, because I'm just not sure I want to push him that much. So we'll see what happens with his the offer from AGPW. Their roster's weak. They could do with it. Oh no, they've got Dory Funk Jr. There's my future boy, hopefully. And Abdullah the Butcher. Jesus Christ, at 53, Abdullah the Butcher. Well, fair enough to him. So yeah, I'm tempted with Benoit to just let Benoit disappear and ride off into the sunset, and I can kind of ignore him then. So we'll see. If he agrees to that one, then I'll definitely let him go. Rick Martel has been hired by USWA on a handshake deal. I was looking at Rick Martel. He's one of the people I was looking at. We got a bit excited when we started this save. I got quite excited going around looking at absolutely everybody and trying to sign loads of people. Rick Martel was one of them. Then I kind of realised at 39 years of age, I do really like Rick the Model Martel. But with 50 wrestlers on the roster already, I'm not really sure I massively need Rick Martels and people like that. So this is why they've ended up on my short list. I quite like them, but that'll be fine. Hunter Hearst Helmsley has been hired by WWC on the World Wrestling Council on a handshake deal. Oh, this is a tricky one, because obviously he's got the WWF deal and he's got a deal with WWC and ECW now. So I do like the idea of Hunter Hearst Helmsley getting out there and wrestling. He's 26. I mean, obviously, I would absolutely love to bring him into WCW to completely and utterly kind of mix up the history of like wrestling completely. But again, I know he's going to go on to become an absolute megastar, and I don't want to be bringing in all of these absolute guaranteed superstars, because I think it just gets a bit boring with your save. It's like when you do like a slightly older save and so you end up with like Daniel Bryan in WWF at like WrestleMania 20 or something, because people have picked him up as like a 16-year-old or something. I just think they get a little bit boring. Or when you go onto these saves and you get like, you know, AEW has signed John Cena and, you know, Seth Rollins, and it overpowers the roster. So as much as I'd love to bring him in and change things, I'm going to let him kind of cook a little bit elsewhere. AWF have altered the terms of their contract to Kevin Sullivan. Oh, what's going on here, Kev? As much as I don't massively like Kevin Sullivan, not being seriously considered. So, yeah, I'm not too worried about that. I don't massively like Kevin Sullivan. I think he's a weird little hobbit man. I mean, look at him. He looks odd. He was rubbish at the time, but he is massively, massively integral to the storyline I'm running with Hulk at the moment, and he will be massively, massively involved in that for years and years. Well, not years and years, but for absolutely very long time. So I don't really want to muck him around. So I've thrown a lot of money at him to try and keep him on the roster, and I want him to build, because I want the Dungeon of Doom to be quite a big stable. I've got a few ideas of people I'm going to chuck in the stable with them, and I want to kind of mix that around. So Conan has been hired by the USWA on a handshake deal. Conan, again, very much like Rick the Mother Martel, I was really, really looking to bring in almost anybody that I could find and be like, oh, let's bring in absolutely every superstar that we can. Conan is well and truly on that list, because he is, you know, he's not got massive popularity in the US. He's hugely over in Mexico, obviously. He was like sort of Mexican Hulk Hogan. He's just got great stats, like microphone, acting, star quality, charisma, like everything for entertainment. The guy's just sort of a legend. I would have liked to have brought him in and maybe done a little sort of Mexican stable with perhaps a Rey Mysterio and stuff like that, maybe an Eddie Guerrero. But again, I think my roster, as we look at it, we've got 50 wrestlers at the moment. As far as shows go, we've got 2 shows a week. We've got only 2 hours of wrestling a week, which is really not very much at all to be shown. So actually featuring all these guys is like near on impossible. And as much as I'd love to bring him in, again, I feel like I'd bring like Conan in and then I wouldn't use him, and that feels a bit of a waste, really. So They're on the short list to sort of knock about, and maybe once we go a little bit bigger, I do think eventually I'm probably going to have to actually look at going maybe even longer with the shows, which is mad. I normally don't want very long shows, but a weekly 1 hour show is a little bit restrictive, so I might eventually bump that up once my roster gets a bit bigger and I want to start pushing people. But I'm going to have to kind of wait to do that first, because I don't want to just start booking people and chucking people in for the sake of it. The hour's quite nice now. You've got to kind of go a bit mad and a bit condensed for like 60 minutes and go from there. So I quite like that. Chris Canyon. Chris Canyon has been made an offer by ECW. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Chris Canyon, he's obviously very good in ring. He's had a couple of matches for me already, I think. Yeah, so he's got beaten by Arn Anderson, and he got beaten by the Shark, beaten by Malenko and Eddie Guerrero. So he's a bit of a jobber to the stars. But he's a very steady hand in the ring, obviously. At 25 years of age, I am more than happy if he wants to go and muck about in ECW and get a little bit more experience with them as well. And I'll book him every now and then. But I quite like Chris Canyon, so I like to see these kind of guys thrive in things rather than sort of going, I'm just going to hoard all the talent. Yeah, get out there, wrestle some matches, bump your stats up, come back to me in a few years' time or a few months' time once those stats have gone up and your pop's gone up and stuff, and we'll play about you. So. Drug testing, still doing a little bit of low-level drug testing, which I think is an absolutely insane choice for WCW in the 90s. Someone's going to get pinged, but do you know what? I quite like playing TEW with a bit of adversity, so I quite like having this sort of stuff. So if we can catch someone out and it's going to kind of throw a spanner in the works, then that is more than fine with me. And WCW Nitro was shown last night on television. It got a TV rating of 2.96. So that's pretty decent. I think we're quite happy with that. So happy days. So what negotiations we got here? Contracts with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Hacksaw is quite important, weirdly. I don't think it makes sense that he is, but I don't really have a lot of faces around that kind of area of the roster. So I kind of need Hacksaw there. I've got him as a part of a stable with the American males of called like Team Stars and Stripes, so I've got him in there. I want to use Hacksaw to kind of push people up a bit. He's 41, and obviously he's not going to go really anywhere as far as I think you'll find that's probably the top of his pop there, really. So we're gonna see what he's doing here. So we're awaiting response there. We're going to complete the signing with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Quite happy with that, so that's more than fine. And we're still waiting on these few here. I've got main event tonight, so perhaps we'll have a look at a little quick go through and see if we can book that. I've still got to come up with some mad matches to get in there to see what's going on, but hopefully the real one I'm worried about is like Kevin Sullivan. I need Kevin Sullivan to agree to a deal, because if I lose him, then my like storyline with Hulk is dead, which is not the one, although it's not the most popular. I've got the Renegade Open Challenge. Perhaps we should kick this off a little bit. The matches. Oh, yeah, the Macho Man Madness. Oh, yes, excellent. Kind of reminding myself of everything. It's been so long since I've properly played. I don't really like to play this game unless I'm actually live streaming it or recording it for a show, for like one of the YouTube videos. So I'm sort of I'm making this up and reminding myself of everything that's going along as well. So, yeah. I've got Kamala's got some big morale issues here. He's angry. I know he's angry. He's going to get binned off because his contract runs out soon as well. He's got 19 days left on his contract, and he's going to find himself on the unemployed line. Macho Man's angry as well, just because obviously I employed his ex-wife, Miss Elizabeth, who weirdly he's going to be in a massive storyline with. So suck it up, Macho Man. You are going to have to deal with this, Randy Savage. So I might periodically throw some money at Macho Man to try and cheer him up, but we'll see what happens with that. So let's go on. Let's book a bit. Let's book some, shall we? It's only main event. We don't need to do anything too overexciting with that. So Big Bubba Rogers. Yeah, I'd quite like to do that. Oh, Shawn Michaels storyline. Wow. There's been talk from within WWF that indicates the current plan is for Shawn Michaels to begin a lengthy feud with Bret Hart in the near future. I can't see that working out. Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels feuding. With the storyline then due to be the focus of the company for at least the following 6 months. Whether this is idle speculation or legitimate news remains to be seen. Quite frankly, that is insane. If I'm coming up against Bret versus Shawn for the next 6 months, that's going to be hard work, isn't it? So Bob Backlund has joined the Body Donners stable. Bob Backlund strongly expect to be officially become the latest member in the near future. Oh, that is, I love the idea of Bob Backlund in the Body Donners, especially at this time. In 95, like, Bob Backlund actually was insanely good. Why on earth they like WWF massively pushed him down the card for some reason, and like he was doing this like kind of crackers gimmick at the time, like he always has done, I guess. But he was insanely over. So why on earth they'd thought? I think they kind of saw Bob Backlund at 46 years of age, quite rightly so, I guess, as the kind of past, and they didn't want him to be the focus of the show. But you know, I think sometimes when you kind of struck gold with someone, you've just got to go with it, haven't you? Really, and you know, why not see what you can get out of him, I guess. But maybe that's me, I guess. Maybe that is, but right, what else have we got here? The $1 Million Corporation change. Oh, bloody hell. Our sources within WWF have confirmed that the $1 Million Corporation will no longer feature Ted DiBiase. A change brought on for the character reasons. So the $1 Million Corporation will no longer have the $1 Million Man in it. So that is, well, that's some bold booking from Vince McMahon there. I quite like it though. So, you know, do what you got to do, Vince, I guess. If rumours to be believed, the next big WWF storyline will centre around The Undertaker going to head with our friend, the Dingo Warrior. My goodness, they've got a 6th to 9th month feud. The Undertaker versus the Ultimate / Dingo Warrior. My God, sounds awful. And we've got a storyline that'll centre around Diesel going head to head with Razor Ramon. So essentially, the WWF throwing absolutely every big gun you could imagine at things there, aren't they? So that's insane, isn't it? So what have we got down here? Honky Tonk Man claims a new belt. That's quite good. The Honky Tonk Man is the WWC Caribbean Heavyweight Champion. Good for you, Honk. Why not? So, anything else that's interesting down here? A new team? Two Cold Scorpion and Rex King. That's not that exciting, is it? It's not as... Oh, Jesse Ventura's joined BCW. Jesse Ventura's quite an interesting one because obviously, as far as an announcer or a colour commentator goes, he's really good, and I feel we've kind of not struggling with that, but my announcers and stuff could be a little bit stronger. I don't think they're quite as good as they could be. Ron Simmons agrees to deal with the AWF. Ron Simmons would be a nice one to bring in. But at 37 years of age, I mean, obviously we all know the Attitude Era with the APA and everything was insanely over and insanely good. But I'm not sure that we need a 37-year-old Ron Simmons in the company. So I'd like to. I like the idea of him, but it's a solid no for me there. So anything going on here? Smoky Mountain Wrestling, having Tommy Rich and Ricky Morton. Fair enough. It's not as exciting as Bret and Shawn, is it? Quite frankly. So Jacques Rougeau. He's still going now, isn't he? So keep going through here. We've got anything else we want to look at that looks quite exciting? See, we're still at the point now where absolutely everyone is still making like boatloads of sign-ins, so that'll keep going on. Oh, look, that's an interesting one. We've got Don Callis joining BCW, so that's quite an exciting one there for him. And D'Lo Brown agreeing to deal with the ECWA, so there we go. Quite a few of that. I quite like it once these youngsters get picked up. That I find that a bit more useful. I prefer that. That's always good. Jim Duggan has been hired by the AWF on a handshake deal. That's kind of fine. I'm not too worried about that. He's going to very much prioritise us. I don't even think his schedule is that. Yeah, they're Saturdays. They're Fridays and Saturdays by the looks of it that they fall on. So I'm not. Yeah, Friday and Saturday nights. Again, Hacksaw Jim Duggan's not going to be a massive part of my roster. He's not going to be like a big, important one. So I'm not overly worried about him working elsewhere.
We had a house show last night, which has drew 1,353 fans. Excellent. That's great news. WWC have increased their live experience level to small. Again, not worried about production stuff. And what have we got here? Kevin Sullivan, he's agreed to my deal. That is absolutely... I've got a written contract with... I should have done an exclusive written, but hey-ho, these don't matter. Request a medical? Don't think so. Let's just complete that signing. So we're still waiting on Ricky Steamboat, Harley Race, and Dory Funk, but that's kind of cool. They're going to be just going back in there as road agents, so we're not overly worried by them. So that's really good news. So that's quite pleasing. Now I'm quite happy with all those. That makes things... That's saved the Hulk Hogan storyline for at least a few months until Hulk probably buggers off to do a film or something, knowing my luck. Let's see if the old webcam seems to have died on me here. Let's see if we can get it back working. Got it working again. Look at this. I'm becoming a pro at all this sort of stuff. Right, let's move on to the next one. Oops. Right, so they auto booked the venue of the War Memorial Auditorium for me in the southeast. I seem to book everything around here. So absent workers are Bobby Heenan, Jake Roberts. Jake Roberts is not going to debut yet, and the Taskmaster. And that's a bit annoying. I'd quite like to have used him in a segment, but that's all right. We'll let that slide. We'll let that slide. We've got a backstage incident. Dun, dun, dun. It's been a backstage incident involving Marcus Bagwell and Bobby Heenan, and even though Bobby Heenan doesn't go to the bloody... Isn't there? Okay. Marcus Bagwell was brought before the wrestlers' court accused of not paying attention during a locker room meeting. The judge, Bobby Heenan, found him guilty and sentenced him to buy a crate of beer for the locker room. Marcus Bagwell has the mercenary personality and is currently happy. Okay. That's not the end of the world. The incident has had a small positive impact upon Marcus Bagwell. That's kind of good news, I guess. Not quite sure what's gone on there, as we've got Bobby Heenan in the locker room, but not actually doing anything there. So anyway, Marcus Bagwell is part of Team Stars and Stripes. He's in the tag team with... we've got him in the American Males, obviously. So I want to push them. I want to push them quite a lot. I really like the American Males. I don't know why. I just thought they were pretty cool back in the day. So I'm going to push them a little bit and see what goes on with them. So that's all right. And I like Scotty Riggs. I think Scotty Riggs is quite a fun little character as well. So I'd like to get them in there. And the tag team titles are on the bloody Bunkhouse Buck and what's his face? What's they called again? The stud stables got Dick Slater and Bunkhouse Buck. Bunkhouse Buck's terrible, but Dick Slater's weirdly pulled off a few half decent matches for me. So, but I've got so many better tag teams than them, so we're gonna have to do something a little bit better here. So, right. Anyway, let's jump in. Let's just jump in and book some matches. So I want to get a Renegade on the card. Who did I want to challenge the Renegade at some point? Ideally, I want William Regal to take the belt off him at some point, but just... I don't know. Until he finishes up his time with New Japan, I guess that kind of doesn't make sense there. So what we want to do is we want to get the Renegade wrestling someone. So I think he's miles down here. Yep, he's still unimportant, so he still needs to be beating people left, right, and centre, doesn't he? So if we pop him in there, who can he face that's a heel that we don't mind destroying their career a little bit? We've got the Zodiac. I don't really want to put him against the Zodiac because I've got some plans for him. He's also going to be wrestling at Full Brawl. He's going to be part of the match against Hulk in the Dungeon of Doom against Hulk Hogan's kind of team. So we've got that there. So I don't really want to ruin that too much there. Bobby Eaton wouldn't be a bad shout for the Renegade, although beating him is just so far above. Should we have a look if we can get any local wrestlers in? I mean, that's massively, massively pointless, isn't it? But if we got a local wrestler, who could we bring in? Oh, there's absolutely bugger all anyone, isn't there? Adrian Street is a 54-year-old, is a road agent, not interested in you. Curtis Iakia, I don't even know who that is. Hawaiian. Hillbilly Jim, manager or a personality, that's no good to me. Kevin Green, who is a wrestler. Who is he? Literally no idea who Kevin Green is. Missy Hyatt, that's a cool one, but again, probably not one for wrestling. Paul Diamond, a white Croatian male wrestler. Steve Kieran is an American wrestler who works in America's middleweight. He's got some pretty cool, got some decent stuff. Iron Sheik. Should we just get the Renegade to beat the Iron Sheik for one night only? That would be quite funny, wouldn't it? Just on a B show, just have the Iron Sheik just turn up and get beaten by the Renegade for like literally no reason. That would be quite funny. I think he'd hate me if I did that, though, wouldn't he? But we could just literally bury the Sheik, couldn't we? Just for bumping the Renegades pop up a little bit. Who's Kevin Green? Could I bring him in as a wrestler just for the night? What's he all about? So I basically need a heel to wrestle against the Renegade. I mean, he's not going to get much of a match out of him, is he? Look, his stats are absolutely dreadful. Fundamental basics between 9 and 39. Jesus Christ! I mean, I could probably wrestle better than him. Oh, he's definitely got colour commentator between 39 and 84. Just casual, isn't it? Oh, he's Dross. We're not having him. I do quite like the idea of the Sheik, though. Just for a B show randomly to lose. What would he do for a one-night deal? Be exclusive. Do you think he'd do it? Yeah, let's do it. Stuck there then, but who cares? Let's do it. Have I got the Sheiky baby for the night? Oh my days. Let's do it. Right. So we'll get... Oops. Oh, he's not even on there, is he? It's the Renegade. Right. Where's... Is he the Iron Sheik? Oh, the Iron Sheik. Oh my god. Love that. Let's do that. Right, title on the line is going to be the World Television title. So the Renegade did have Kimona as his manager, and she wasn't doing very well in their first match together. So we're going to have the Renegade win this one. Should we just have him completely and utterly bury him? No, that would be too harsh, I think. But is that only a one night only deal, isn't it, I guess? Regardless of what I'm going to do, the Sheik's going to go mental, isn't he? The Iron Sheik is furious. Continue. Oh, God, he can't go in that length of a match. How long did I put it against? 8 minutes. 6-minute match. Sheik is furious. Don't worry about that, Sheiky baby. You can be annoyed there. So we've got the Renegade beating the Iron Sheik. Right, I want to book a main event kind of thing. Let's do a tag team match. What tag teams have we got? I can't book the Steiners yet. Got the Naughty Ones. I really want to push the American males because I'd quite like them to get out there for the titles. But then again, I should probably have my actual tag team champions get some sort of... Yeah, so we'll have Bunkhouse Buck and Dick Slater against people. They're gonna have to fight some faces. Exclusion already booked. Who have we got? Mongo. Oh, let's just have them fight the Armstrong brothers. That makes sense, doesn't it? We won't put the belts on the line because I'm not a big fan of belts being on the line just for the sake of it to bump up your number of defences. we can have this one as a. We've got to have a storytelling match in there, so we'll have that as the storytelling match. It's going to tell me the title holders. Yeah, we'll continue anyway. So. Right, and I want to cram one more match in there, which is going to be like my main event. Today's. But I want to put some decent wrestlers in that one. Some people who actually you want to watch. Jim Duggan might not be a bad shout, actually, I guess, because I've got Road Warrior Hawk there. Let's put Road Warrior Hawk in a match. And against heels, we don't want the major star heels. Who can he fight? Not Arn Anderson. Stars, actually. Malenko's a decent one, isn't he? He's a good in-ring talent, isn't he, for us? Scotty Norton. Got some plans for Paul Orndorff, Mr. Wonderful. I'm going to start pushing him as a sort of on-screen kind of character, but he's going to do a few bits and bobs around there. I could just give Steve Regal a win, couldn't I? Do you know what? I'm going to get Diamond Dallas Page in a match because I want to get the Diamond Doll out there a little bit, and I'm also pushing Page in a bit of a storyline, and I'm going to have Page win that one, weirdly. So that is going to be my mainish event. So we're going to have a freestyle angle, I think, where we're going to have Diamond Dallas Page. He's going to be rated on his entertainment. We're going to have the Diamond Doll. He's going to be rated on sexy appeal. And he's going to talk about Road Warrior Hawk, who is going to be off screen, and he's going to talk about the Macho Man because Randy, not Randy Anderson, Randy Savage. So, because basically Macho Man's been going a bit crackers, and he thinks that he can hear voices of a woman who's kind of in distress, and he thinks it's the Diamond Doll. So DDP tells Macho Man, let's not stop with the capitals, David Boy, Macho Man to watch his back and leave the Diamond Doll alone, and he'll, I'm not going to have enough space for this, he'll deal with Hawk tonight. Right, let's get rid of Diamond and put the Doll alone. I like having good names and stuff when my segment names. It really helps me to know what's going on there, so it makes it easier for me. So I'm going to book that. That will open the night with that kind of promo. What have we got here? So we've booked 4 segments for 38 minutes. Show's got between 55 and 65, so we need 17 more minutes. The fans are expecting the show to be about 65% matches. So currently you're too high, 82%. I know I'm too high. What other storylines? You don't really do anything with storylines on B shows, do we? So no one really cares, do they? Do you know what? Let's have a squash match with someone. Let's someone do a squash. Who should get a quick big win that we can push quite hard? Who we got around here? I don't want to do Raven because he's not debuted yet. Do you know what? William Regal can. So we'll come up against a face, an unimportant face. Who can he fight? Kurosawa, Justin Thunder Liger, Disco Inferno, Chris Kanyon. Kanyon all right. Oh, let's go Chris Kanyon because Chris Kanyon is significantly less popular. Always, absolutely always, for some reason. Face at the top, heel on the bottom for me. Face on the left, heel on the right. He can beat him super quick there, can't he? So William Regal do that. move that up. Then we'll have Regal cuts a promo saying he wants the TV title from the Renegade. So we'll have Lord Stephen Regal. He's going to be rated on microphone because he's outrageously good with that. We're going to have old Bobby Eaton there. I'm not going to rate him on anything because he's absolutely terrible at everything. Who have we got? I think, what did I call him? Prince Robert of Brookside. He's going to be there, but not rated on anything. And have the Renegade. Oh, not the Giant, the Renegade. He can be related on, God knows. And Kimona can be rated on Sex Pill, even though she won't be there either. That's fine. Bum, bum, bum. Right, so we booked 6 segments at 51 minutes. They're between 55 and 65. So we've got DDP cutting a promo. Who could we really do with pushing a promo? Do you know what? We'll just give Brian Pillman a promo because he's actually involved in the storyline with the Diamond Dallas Page as well. The man is the Macho Man, so Brian Pillman is sort of involved in that one as well. I'm going to kind of weave him into the story a little bit. So we'll have an angle with Brian Pillman. Oh, not Brian Knobs, Brian Pillman. He'll be cutting that on a microphone, and he's going to be talking about Arn Anderson wanting the. Arn Anderson wants to wrestle Sting for the US title. But Brian Pillman says that it's going to be him that does it. So we're going to have Diamond Dallas Page in there and the Diamond Doll. Oops. Sex Appeal. Be rated on entertainment. And not Randy. We don't need Randy Savage in there again. No, this is a bit much in it for the Diamond Dallas Page. Actually, we'll ditch those. Actually, none. But who can he be interviewed by? Do we need an interviewer? Not really. Let's leave it. We've got Schiavone. So we're going to have Brian Pillman. Wait a minute. Pillman cuts a promo saying he wants a shot at Sting's US title. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be double A. So we'll whack that in there and we'll give that because obviously. Oh, can I not? Oh, he's not even there, is he? Off screen. He can be. I don't know. Overness then. That's fine. Oh, look at that. We're at 66%. So that's absolutely brilliant. We'll book some pre-match shows. So let's see if we can get in here. We'll get major stars. Yeah, include already booked. Right, who have we got on here that we want to give a little bit of a boost to? Meng can have a bit of a boost, and he can come up against the face. He can fight Mr. JL. We'll have Meng win that in a pre-show match. Meng. And we can have that one to work the crowd. And let's stick something else on. Shall we see if we can stick a tag team match of sorts in there. I do like a good tag team match. What tag teams have we got left? American Males, Harlem Heat. No, not those. You know what? I don't want to push. I don't want heels winning every day. American Males can win. Who can they fight against? Heels only. Sabu. No, I've got some plans for Sabu as well. I am Raven. Oh, right. Let's stick them in a weird tag team match for those. Mainly because VK Wall Street, I've got absolutely zero interest in pushing at any points. Scotty Riggs, you can get a pin because we like you, Scotty boy. Get those in there. And let's maybe get one more one-on-one match where we can actually we'll get someone who can wrestle. Some proper wrestlers. What have we got left? Faces. Let's have Alex Wright against Booker T. And that can be our last pre-show match with Booker T winning that one. Not that it really matters. Excellent. So yeah, excellent. I think that's going to kind of round up what I'm going to do today. Save that there. We've gone through. We've booked up quite a lot of stuff. We've got a few offers put out there, so it's done really good. As always, I'm absolutely delighted that anyone has bothered to join me, so I'm really pleased with that. Thank you, Red Hill, for joining in and actually saving me a few clicks, finding out how I can sort out my loan deals with William Regal, so that's been really useful. Hopefully, I'll be actually recording this episode of Main Event fairly soon, so I can get the actual proper video up, and then we can work our way through to the next episode of Nitro, because I've got some decent plans for the actual pay-per-view. But until next time, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you all very soon, hopefully. Catch you laters.